Thank you for watching our video. This is Girls on Expedition, and what do you do when you're either on your period or have to go to the toilet and you're on a canoe expedition? So I'm delighted that I've got Megan and Anna and Inga, who've all been on expedition with us, doing their canoe gold expedition, and they all had to obviously go to the toilet, and both Megan and Inga had their periods at the time. So they're great people to talk about how they managed and what they did. So girls, could you just introduce yourselves and say where you did your expeditions and what it was like for you?
So my name is Megan. I'm from Cambridge and I'm currently doing the IB at Impington. And I went on my gold expedition last year. And we went on the rivers Great Ouse and the Wissey, because obviously we did it in Cambridgeshire due to lockdown. And
then where did you do your assessed?
I did a slightly similar, but I think I started on the, I started lower down on the Great Ouse and then went further along the Wissey. So yeah.
I think the word was you started at Erith.
Yeah, that's it.
Above sea level. And what about you, Anna? Because you were last year as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm Anna. I'm from Cambridge as well. I'm doing my A-levels at Hills Road in my final year. I did the same routes as Megan, not at the same time, unfortunately. But yeah, we did the similar routes through the fens for my assessed and my practice.
But Inga, you were the year before, weren't you? So you got different routes.
I think I did the practice was it on the Little Ouse?
Yes.
And then the main one in Wales on the Severn. And I'm from outside of Newcastle and I'm doing adult nursing at university.
That's great. And you're actually meeting real people at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been at placement. I'm watching a knee replacement on Wednesday, so I'm excited.
That's really good, really good.
Yeah.
So Anna, you weren't on your period during your expedition. So how did you and your group cope with going to the toilet as a girl on expedition?
Well, I mean, pretty much the same as the boys did. Really, there gets to be no difference. You all just bond together and nobody minds about the toilet, really. You're just going along on the river, say, I need the toilet, and the group will stop and you just hop out, use the toilet behind sort of a tree or a bush or something. And if you have toilet roll, it's really important to take that with you. So I think we said keep like a little doggy bag or a Ziploc bag and take a box with you with like soap, hand sanitizer, water, toilet roll, and then you can just package that back up in a nappy bag in a little dog bag or something. Take that back with you and then dispose of it in the bin at the campsite.
Yeah, that's great. So sometimes coming down river, there are toilets you can stop at. I guess you got some on the Severn, didn't you?
Yeah, there was a couple.
Yeah, and coming through Ely, those groups that come through Ely, there's public toilets there that people can go to, and at the locks there's sometimes toilets. But yeah,
sometimes behind a tree is better than a natural toilet. So, so it's okay.
But I want to make sure that we will give each group will have a spade. Okay, and it's really, really important that you go at least 20 meters away from the river, because we don't want any feces to get into the river, because that will.
And it's important to go to the toilet as well, like definitely, because don't hold it in or else it'll make the whole entire experience not nice.
Yeah, and the other thing that some people I haven't had it on canoeing expeditions, that people don't want to drink, so they don't have to go to the loo. But
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and then people get really bad headaches and you could get heat stroke. So we really don't want you to do that. We want you to be comfortable going to the toilet outdoors. You get a great view. So but you do need to go at least 20 meters from the river, and you need to make sure you dig a hole if you're going to do big stuff that is at least 6 inches. Okay, so it has to be at least 6 inches, and then you cover it up afterwards, because the last thing we want is anybody standing on it. But really, really important, you take your toilet paper away with you, because we want to leave no trace. And toilet paper.
Little box.
Yeah, talk about that. So Inga and Megan, you were both on your periods, weren't you? Which is just awful, but hey, you managed it, and I think came up with some good strategies. So Megan, tell us what you brought with you, because I liked what you'd said.
Yeah, so I brought a mix of things. So in terms of actually like the usage, I brought a mixture of pads and tampons, and I also brought these like special period pants, which I could either wear overnight, or if I felt like I needed to, I could also do the Gold Canoeing, and that just helped me. Like if I felt like I couldn't stop, it was fine. And then I also brought things that will help, like either the pain, so medication, so whether that's just paracetamol, ibuprofen, or whatever you or whatever you normally use. And then I normally have certain cups of tea when I'm on my period. I find that really helps. So I brought some tea bags, and then I would have them in the evening and in the morning, just to kind of help with the stress levels. But I think if you're comfortable with sharing it, like if you're in a group of friends, or you bond really well with the people that you're with, don't be afraid like not to tell them, because I think it really does help when you do tell them, because they're a lot more aware, like if you are feeling like you're in a little bit of pain, or just any of those kind of side effects you can have. I think it's really useful to share that, and it just brings that support and makes everyone keep an eye on you. Yeah, that's good.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think there's also, if one of you comes on, then the likelihood is the whole group will come on. So those pheromones get going. So I definitely don't be embarrassed to tell people, because and I would, even if you think that you're not going to come on, bring some emergency supplies with you, just in case. We'll always have some spare. I will have spare in the van. So if you do get caught out, please come and tell us. I have, of course, done lots of expeditions as a woman, and of course had periods all the way through. So I do carry extra, and will very happy to give them to you. But yeah, do bring extra with you. Enga, I really like that box. Tell us what's your idea with that box you're holding up? I like that, so much nicer than my box.
I know, I just saw it because everyone's going to have one of these, aren't they? So you could put your little plastic bag in there as a little coating, and then just have that in your boat or shove it in your barrel, and then you can put your toilet roll in it, or your tampons and your pads, and then say in an emergency, if you did have to keep it all in there for the week, if you couldn't dispose of it, it should be okay in there. But if you can find a bin, you can tip it out.
Yeah, you'll always be able to find a bin. So at every campsite, even if it's a campsite that's one of our campsites, there will be toilets there, and I always make sure there's a bin that you can put any pads in. You can get rid of them there, so you won't need to keep them for longer than just the 8 hours while you're traveling. Well, it'll only be 6 hours, because you won't go for the first 2 hours, will you? So it will be 6 hours at the most, and you can just put them there. If it's a normal campsite, as it were, there'll be toilets that you can use, and if you're going downriver past public toilets, you can get rid of them there, so you can easily get rid of them. But yeah, I think having something that you can put everything in, your hand gel, your soap,
and then everything's in there.
Yeah. Inga, you came up with an idea. You kept things down. You had a pocket in your buoyancy aid, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a little pocket in my buoyancy aid, so I would just keep like a tampon in there for the day, or like 2 tampons and a pad just in case, and then I'll just scrunch up some toilet roll and just some hand sanitizer as well, just so then you have it.
And a nappy
but you can
sack.
get little, and the nappy sacks just to put them in. But yeah. And then you can get little waterproof phone cases, and I shove one in, just like that. But you can put your tampons in there if you don't have a pocket on your buoyancy aid, and just shove it down.
Yeah.
So if you do get a dry bag like this, they sell little red ones. I couldn't find mine in Sports Direct. You can just put a piece of string on it and then just tie it onto your buoyancy aid and shove it down on the inside, so nobody will see it, but you've got it there safe.
That would be a lot more easier, because if you are desperate for the toilet and then you haven't find somewhere to go, and then you're having to faff around in your barrels getting it all out, you're probably going to have wet yourself by the time you've got to where you want the toilet. So if you've got it on you, you're okay.
And it can be a pain.
Don't put it in your barrel. Have it in your, so that everyone will have a little day bag, which you've probably got the stuff you need for the day, and maybe it's your waterproof or your day food. If you've then got your toilet stuff in there as well, then it's really easily accessible, and you can just jump out the boat, go 20 meters from the river. And normally there's river banks, so that if you just go over and down the riverbank, then none of your group can see you anyway.
That's what I found. It was almost always embankments, especially in the fens on the river we did it on. You could just literally hop over the top, and then you're already over 20 meters away and completely shielded, and you get a really nice view that stretches out in front of you. I would
Yeah.
definitely say don't put your toilet stuff in the barrel, keep that in the day bag, because the barrels can be a bit of a pain, especially if you're trying to do it while sort of half on the river, like you're still in the canoe trying to open the barrel, put everything back and fish around in there is quite inconvenient.
Yeah, I'd always put like maybe a little bit extra than I think I might need, just in case, in my day bag, and then I put the rest of it in my barrel, and then I would sort everything out when I get back to the campsite. But yeah, you don't put everything in your barrel. Make sure that you've got the stuff that you'll need just in case.
Just so you can grab it and go.
Yeah.
And that's the same with food, because I know some people, and I used to get really bad headaches if I didn't eat enough when I was on my period, or so just make sure that you've got what you need. So whatever you would normally have when you're at home, to make yourself feel comfortable, just have the same, so you've got it and you make life comfy for yourselves. Girls, is there any other advice, just in general, as a girl talking to other girls doing their expedition, that you took with you to make life comfortable?
I had little heat patches, like the little just peel off the back, and I would just like stick it on my belly or on my back, and they stay warm for like 8 hours, and that does help the cramps.
That's really good.
It warms you up on the river as well, so
that's really good. That is good. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah.
I just think like come well prepared, and like what I just did myself is like, I know there are certain stuff like food or drinks that will help me, or like how to cope with my period. So like if you're worried, like before you're doing your expedition, like see how best you cope with your period on a day-to-day, and then see if you can adapt that to go on a canoe, because you'll find that you can bring a lot of the stuff that you might normally use, and it shouldn't put you off. You can still keep going.
Like chocolate, oranges, all of that. Just make sure you have plenty.
I would say from like just a general using the toilet point of view, don't be worried about it, don't be nervous about it, if you can help it, obviously, because the boys will go off behind a tree as they always do, and you can do pretty much exactly the same thing. Nobody's going to think you're weird in any way at all. It's just completely normal.
Completely normal. We've all got to go for a wee or a poo.
Yeah. And if you're still worried about it, like I'm sure a friend that you're canoeing with, or someone you get really close to, like you can talk about it and like you'll laugh about it. And that's
then eventually
fine.
You'll probably end up going together, so you'll be like, oh, we'll go for a wee together, then you can have a little chat and it makes it easier.
Your group will definitely put you at ease if you're still nervous when you're going.
Because Inga, you didn't know, you came from up north, didn't you? You didn't know anybody in your group before you came.
Didn't have a clue.
No.
And I'd never been that far. I travelled the whole way down on my own as well, so that was new as well, but yeah, I had fun.
Yeah, no, it's great. I just think it's really impressive. We've got a few
meeting
people.
New people, and I'm still friends with some of them now, actually. So
that's nearly 18 months on, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good.
It's fast.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And Anna's coming to help us on the on some of the expeditions this summer, aren't you, Anna? Yeah,
and I'm there's a couple of other people helping as well who I'm still in touch with, who I met through DOV. You just become so close so quickly with people you haven't met before.
Yeah, you do.
And Megan's persuaded me that she's going to bring a group to one of the campsites that we use as well. So I think it's amazing the stories that develop as a result of doing your DOV.
No, I absolutely loved it, because I wanted to just go and explore somewhere else. I just randomly typed in Gold DOV and then found Joy, and it was fantastic actually.
That's great. And now we've got your sister joining us as well, haven't we?
Yeah, my sister's going to come down as well and do the same.
So that's really good. Well, girls, thank you very, very much indeed. I'm sure it will be helpful for other girls to hear you just so positive, so happy. So anyone can do it. Yes, periods don't matter. You can go canoeing and do your expedition and be on your period and still be happy and enjoy it. So no, it's great.
Even if it's raining, you're fine.
What's the answer if it's raining? Please give me the right answer. You need to be wearing a poncho.
A mac in a sack as well does the job.
Yeah, just keep yourself dry, is warm and dry.
And make sure your clothes are in like a million bin bags and you'll be fine.
Mhm.
No, it's great. Well, thanks. Thank you for listening. And girls, thank you for taking part.
Thank you.
I meant to stop the recording rather than turn you all off, which I think I've done now, haven't I? No, it's still recording.